when you have to do the things that are tough, when you have to do the things that you do not want to do, that is the moment when you are going to truly shine.
Claudia Ramirez, empowering you to become the optimal leader of your life. Let's turn on the Mindset Mic.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 63 of Mindset Mike. Let's talk about how every step, despite how small it is going to play a crucial part in your overall journey. Listen, I'm back after an unexpected 2 months off from the podcast that I was not happy with, but I'm back and I'm at peace. And in the midst of it all, like in those 2 months that you and I haven't spoken, one on one here, a lot has happened. I moved out of Manhattan. As you can see, it's behind me. I know the light isn't ideal. I'm filming at like almost noon and the light is starting to come in. The best time to film here is like at 8 in the morning. Don't mind me if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram. I have parted ways with the company that I was working with, and I am so grateful for that. More to come about that in the journey, maybe in the next episodes. And I ran the New York City Marathon. And I know that the last time that you and I spoke, I told you I was running the Philadelphia Marathon, and I was so happy, and I was like, I signed up for the marathon. And now I get to say I ran the New York City Marathon, and that was my actual dream. So today I want to talk to you about how that happened and why every step that you take in your life is going to play a part. We are people who have really big goals that don't make sense on paper. That's what I say. I tell you to act with gutsy behavior. I tell you to go out there and make things happen. So now I'm here to tell you how this really came about. And it goes beyond me. And I hope that it makes you walk away into your day feeling absolutely empowered and certain that if miracles can happen in someone's life, they can happen in your life because they're already happening. Remember the time when I told you about, I think it was one of my first episodes, I talked about the speed of manifestation. The speed of manifestation, does it happen in the moment or is it years and years and years in the making? I don't know. I think it's a combination. You see, I had never been to New York before up until August 2023. When we came for my boyfriend's birthday, we came for 5 days. He's a big lover of New York. And there is a part off of Central Park called Columbus Circle. If you don't know Central Park, if you don't know New York, think big rectangle in the middle of Manhattan. And in the bottom left corner, there is a place called Columbus Circle. And it's this like roundabout. And there's a Columbus Circle shops. There's a mall there. And on the second floor of that mall, there is a store called Fleet Feet. And it is a running store. It's a national brand. They have over 200 stores nationwide. It's a great brand. They have great service. They build community. And I walked in there last August, 2 August ago, um, just to walk in. And we're like, oh, it's a running store. And we just walked in, didn't think anything about it, walked out. And I moved to New York without knowing anybody, without having a role in sight, knowing that I wanted to work in learning and development, knowing that I wanted to continue expanding my business and my brand. But in day 3, I was walking around Fifth Avenue looking for a job. And I said, I will take any job at this point. I went to my favorite brands like Reese and Lululemon and was told no, or was told a very nice yes that really means no. I was, looked up and down. We don't have anything for you. The manager can't speak with you. The manager is standing right there. I can see them. All of these very uncomfortable, pretty woman type of experiences, like the movie. Not that I'm a pretty woman. I am a pretty woman, but you know what I mean. And finally, I said, you know what? If I'm going to get a job that's not going to pay me much, perhaps, like what a corporate job would, I need to be in an environment where I'm going to find community and I'm going to be happy. Because at the end of the day, it's the reason why I came. I wanted to come back to get a job, to build community, and be back in a social environment. because, as you know, being in the UK was a little tough for me. And I went into this mall after being rejected from like every store and every other place. And I walked in, and this very kind gentleman introduces me to the manager. And the manager says that they are hiring, and it's an outfitter position that pays minimum wage. And I said, I'll apply. And so I did. And I worked there a month later. I worked there for 4 months, where I met wonderful people, and I got to connect wonderful people to the sport of running. I helped them find the best running shoes for them. I was, top three in sales and insoles and everything in between. I really embodied and did the best that I could in my job. And in there was a guy by the name Kenny Mole. And Kenny Mole has been on the podcast before. As you know, he ran 7 marathons in 7 days. And I supported him for a couple of the days. And the last day, I ran 10 miles with him. With him and the group that was with him, not just myself. And I thought, well, I'm kind of out of shape, so I'll just run, you know, um, 5, 6 miles with him. But then all these like running lads showed up, and they were so cool. And other girls showed up, and like the energy was just electric. So I decided to stay, where I met Rob Dalto, who I'm looking forward to having on the podcast and him sharing more about his story. And I had met Rob Dalto, not met him, I had learned from him back a year ago, like in November, when he had accomplished all of his marathon majors for Abbott World Marathon Majors. He was a 6-star finisher within 1 year and had done it previously before. And I was inspired by him and the fashion jogger when they were talking about the New York City Marathon. And I said, I'm going to run that marathon. And it's one of the reasons why I moved here. So I meet Rob, and I was just like, hi, you're Rob. My name is Claudia. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't want to be trying to start a conversation, because when somebody is so up there in an industry, I don't want to be the person who's trying to get anything out of them. I just really wanted to meet him, and so I did, and that was it. And towards the end, we ran the 10 miles. My IT band's hurting, but I don't care because I get to be around these people. I It was so cool because I was leaving and I got distracted with this guy who was a dog trainer, and he was running what Rob called like a military operation. And I'm sure we'll talk more about this when I have him on the podcast, but I he and I connected. He asked me if I was a runner, and I said yes, and that I was trying to sign up for a marathon. He followed me on Instagram, and that was it. A few weeks later, I decided I'm going to run the Philadelphia Marathon. I run it by him just to see what he thinks. And he's like, it's a great first marathon. It's flat. You'll be great. Awesome. Weeks later, he asks me to make a video with him on Instagram, which I kept delaying over and over because of work. And I felt so bad. And I was like, I really need to show up because I feel like I'm not, I can't like not show up for this guy. He's amazing, and he does like really great things, and, has a good heart. And I really wanted to be there. So at the end of it all, he gifted me a New York City Marathon bib through Team Abbott. And I was in awe, in absolute awe. So grateful. So I've now ran the New York City Marathon a week ago, and I was able to represent the team that inspired me through the guy who inspired me. And I ran my first marathon like the fashion jogger did, who inspired me. And I'm just in like, not even disbelief, because I believe that everything is possible, but just in such gratitude. But my question to you is, when did this manifest? Did it manifest when Rob started running marathons? Did it manifest when Abbott World Marathon Majors became the supporter of World Marathon Majors? Did it manifest the moment that the fashion jogger decided that she was going to run her first marathon in New York? Did it manifest the moment that I walked into Fleet Feet and got a job to build community and was able to meet Kenny? Did it manifest because Kenny had a goal of impacting climate change through 7 marathons in 7 days? Or did it manifest the moment that I ran 2 miles at Central Park and got something so amazing in return? Do not underestimate the power of those small steps. For 4 months, I couldn't afford rent. I didn't earn enough where I was working. Nothing against the job, nothing against Fleet Feet. It just wasn't enough. It's not the role that will sustain a livelihood for me. For months, sometimes I couldn't afford, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was making it barely. At the end, I couldn't even afford a subway ride. It actually didn't go through before I got a role and continued building my brand. And so it's those small steps. I would never, ever imagine that going into that mall and going into the second floor and going all the way to the right and finding a random running store that I had never heard of before would have changed my life the way that it has now. If we wouldn't have decided to come to New York for my partner's birthday, this wouldn't have happened. If I hadn't gotten that job, if I hadn't supported Kenny, if I had gone home after 6 miles, if I hadn't had the courage to introduce myself, because technically I know that I don't like asking people for things. That's my biggest struggle. And I didn't want to come off a certain way. So I just, hi, my name's Claudia. I literally shook his hand in the middle of a run and just kept going. If any of that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have had lived my biggest dream, which I will tell you more about later. So, with you, what are those small steps that you're taking to get to that big thing that doesn't make sense on paper? And are you trusting and believing that it is worth it? Are you going into it knowing your worth? Are you going into it knowing what you bring to the table and embodying all that you are with full confidence and certainty that what you seek is going to be on the other side? You see, this is when unshakable and undeniable belief in yourself and your goals is really going to pay off. When you have to do the things that are tough, when you have to do the things that you do not want to do, that is the moment when you are going to truly shine. I believe that you are tested in every single moment. See, whenever I see a little piece of trash and I'm like, I register that I should pick it up, and then I don't, and I'm like, oof, God's watching, and He knows that I registered it. He knows it, and I go and I pick it up and I throw it out. If I see a cart on a little trolley, a cart, a grocery cart at the store, I take it back. Obviously, that doesn't happen in New York, but I take it back. If I decide that I don't want something right before paying, I put it back where it belongs. Not because somebody else has a job to do, but because I know that this is the right thing to do for myself. And it makes me feel good because I know that I'm doing the right thing. So it sometimes makes you go out of your way. Sometimes you realize that, getting a job at a running store isn't directly related to something else, but it is. Everything is connected. And we cannot underestimate the power that others have in our life. The power that others experiences can do in ours and what we can do in theirs. I've studied personal development for 12 years. And I now get to say that I coach marathoners and athletes in their mindset. People come up to me and say, "Hey, Claudia, I know you're the right person to help me in my marathon journey when it comes to the mindset component. Can you be that person?" I've studied it for 11, 12 years, and I'm so passionate about it. And because of that, I can now help somebody else. Because I walked into Fleet Feet, I can now connect somebody with the best sales rep I can think about with a specific time and date to go. And it's somebody I don't even know, but somebody asked. And that's the power of this abundant world that is connected. You matter. Your goal matters. And every step you take is going to have an impact on the overall picture and not only yours. People are watching, people are listening. Make sure that you emit and transmit the right messages for you to be in the right place. Not out of convenience, not out of let me see what I can get, but from your heart. Mean it, feel it, embody it. I had no idea. I spoke to Riley Dillon. She's a senior social media strategist for Abbott. And I was in awe when she's like, "Yeah, we saw your page and we were just, we loved it. We were just like, absolutely, yes." I didn't know they were watching. I wouldn't have acted any different if I knew they were. But what happened is that I was myself. And I was passionate about what I'm passionate about. And it gave me something so special that didn't have to be. I don't take this gift lightly. I don't take it for granted. And I want to continue paying it forward because somebody did something so big for me. When I stepped on that line, oh gosh, don't cry. I was so emotional. I couldn't fathom the fact that I was about to run my first marathon in New York City. That my dream that didn't make sense on paper because only 4% of people are actually able to get in, and it's the biggest marathon in the world, was actually happening. Oh my gosh, I was in awe. And I just every mile I was like, I get to do this. And I get to wear this shirt that says Abbott Proud, life to the fullest. What could you do if you live life to the fullest? If you have gutsy behavior, if you believe in yourself more than anybody else, big things are ahead for you. And I want to encourage you to develop the confidence and the certainty that you are the right person for those things that you seek. And sometimes reality says otherwise. And sometimes reality pushes you from the goal or from the dream or the belief. But you need to ground yourself and hold on to what you know is possible. I've told you this 10,000 times and I will say it again. If it weren't for you, you wouldn't even be thinking about it. I know many wonderful people who are doing great things in their life. And I just clap for them. And there are people who want to give me some advice, and I'm just like, I can't take it because we're living different paths. And you can't expect everybody to understand what you're going through and what you're experiencing. Today, I want to encourage you to dream big, to think big, to be the person who breaks the pattern, and to be the person who enjoys even the smallest and most mundane of steps. The mistakes, the failures, the little wins along the way, they're all part of your journey. Everything you've done is cumulative. It's a combination that's preparing you for a beautiful recipe for your success. It is your journey. I am happy. I did it. And I remember crossing the line and I hit my goal time. I trained 16 weeks and 12 weeks instead of 16. I compressed the 16-week training plan because of this wonderful gift. And all I wanted was to hit 3:30, well, secretly 3:29, but 3:30 was fine. During the marathon, I thought about that. Every part of my training, from the whack workouts that I did because I was having a bad day, because I felt injured, because I was sore, the ones that I had to cut short because I was working too much, or the amazing workouts that made me feel like $1,000,000. Every step mattered. And I realized that it was part of the process. And I want to encourage you and remind you that that's the way it is in life. Every step you take is going to take you to something. I ran at 3:30 on my first marathon. I am proud of it. I don't say that lightly. I am proud of myself for that. I have big goals. I want to break 250. But for now, this is something that I know is shaping my journey. And the first 3:30 marathon is going to take me to something else. And just like that, my first workout, my first tempo workout, my first long run where I couldn't complete 14 miles, or 10 miles actually, that is all going to be part of the journey. But at the end, I was just like, wow, I did it. And other people can as well. And the first thing that I did is I filmed a video for you, for Instagram, for TikTok, thinking about what is it that you can do in your life when you set your mind to it. Don't worry about the pattern. Don't worry about the steps. Don't worry about the outcome. Just right now, make a decision. What are you going to do? Send me a message and say, Claudia, episode 63 encouraged me to do blank. And I'm going to be supporting you and I'm going to be cheering you on. I believe that you can do it. I believe in you so much because you're still here and because you're still listening. I hope that you take this time to create your ideal life. Make a vision board. You know, my vision board course, See It Created, is available on my website. It's linked down below. Create that life that you're going to be so proud of. The life that is unique and different and special in every way. You've got what it takes to make it happen. What it takes getting clear on your goals and knowing exactly how to achieve them, and how to create a vision board that is foolproof, adversity proof, and everything in between. Believe me, it's possible. I'm not the exception, and you're right here with me. We're gonna make great things happen together because I believe in you. As always, don't forget to keep being the optimal leader of your life. I love you, I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.